Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke if you're new here, and if you're not new here, you already know me. I'm switching things up a bit today. I'm going to be doing a book review. I got my fairy lights on in the back. You can't really see them because my batteries are dying, but I do have some Christmas lights over here. You know, maybe I'll leave them in frame. So, I just read a book. Wow, shocking. I know. So I did. I read a book. And this is a very short book compared to the things I have been reading because I just finished Tower of Dawn, which is a pretty heavy book, and it's fantasy. My two primary genres that I read are fantasy and romance, as you can probably tell from my bookshelves over here that are covered in fantasy and romance. So the book that I just finished, I read this book in a day, was The Kiss Quotient. The Kiss Quotient is 310 pages if you don't count the epilogue. This book is a very kind of fluffy romance read, but it also touches on some serious topics as well, but it's very light and very easy to read. So this is the fastest I've read a book in a long time. I was in a pretty long reading slump and have just kind of gotten back into the groove of reading, and this was a great book. So let's analyze the cover for a second. This is a very popular kind of cover design for romance novels lately. I can pull quite a few off my shelf that look very similar to this. So for example, if you look at pretty much all of these, they're all very similar in design. Like, they're all very, very similar. So anyways, I just wanted to talk about that. So I'm very attracted to these cover designs. If I see a cover design like this, I will pretty much immediately pick it up without even knowing what the book was about. And I did that with this book. So I had no idea what the book was about. I didn't read the synopsis. I heard about it on Booktube and I was like, hey, I need a cute romance novel. Let's do it. So I bought it. And then I read the synopsis and I was like, wow, that is not what I was expecting at all. I didn't say this, but this book is by Helen. I do not know how to properly pronounce her last name. It's either, I think it's Hoang. This says it's her debut novel, I think, which is really cool. This is a very interesting novel. I'm gonna read you a little blurb. So it says, Stella Lane comes up with algorithms to predict customer purchases, a job that has given her more money than she knows what to do with, and way less experience in the dating department than the average 30-year-old. It doesn't help that Stella has Asperger's or that French kissing reminds her of a shark getting its teeth cleaned by pilotfish. Her conclusion: she needs lots of practice with a professional, which is why she hires escort Michael Fan. I was really interested to see how they were going to write in the perspective of someone who did have Asperger's. I thought that was, that's something that I'd never read before, and I didn't look at the reviews before I bought this, so I was concerned about if they were going to do it correctly or not in terms of, just correctly portraying how they feel. So I was like, okay, let's read it. So I started it and I literally could not put it down. I couldn't put it down. I basically just sat and read this all day. The main character, Stella, is so adorable. She's just so likable and she's so relatable, and I love the way that they had her think and analyze things. It was just very, very interesting to read, and it was so easy to read. She was a really easy character to like, and so was the male love interest. He was so incredible and he was so sweet. He was just like, you were rooting for them the whole time, and like obviously there's no question of whether they're gonna get together or not because it's a romance novel. So it has a 3.88 on Goodreads, and no one's reading this because they think it's going to be a literary masterpiece, right? Like no one's saying that this is Shakespeare, but it's really just like kind of one of those books you can read to get your mind off of real life. And I don't know anything about Asperger's, so I can't speak to the fact of whether they accurately describe things or whether they touched on experiences that actually, made sense, or they portrayed it correctly. I don't know, but I definitely thought it was very interesting to read, and I know that it's really important to have diverse characters. It was a really good read, and it just really, I'm writing romance right now, and it just gave me a lot of inspiration. The one thing that somebody mentioned that I thought was, I didn't really think about it while I was reading. So they said that it was kind of like insta-lovey. I didn't really find it to be off-putting, and I never really have in romance novels because it's like, they're gonna end up together anyways, so that doesn't really bother me. Something that does bother me is the cover. Not the cover itself. This bothers me. Why is it yellow? If I saw this on a shelf I would totally think that the book is yellow, and it's not. Like, if you put these two books together, they almost look like the same book. So anyways, I think Stella was a very likable main character. The plot was really good. I think that, you know, they brought in a lot of elements that kept the story really interesting, and it was paced in a way that I never got bored, which for me is really important, especially in romance novels, because romance novels are usually pretty fluffy, and I think sometimes they can get a bit boring at times. It really depends on what I'm in the mood to read. I would rate this, as romance novels go, I would rate this probably a 5 out of 5. Again, I'm not being critical of it when I say I'm reading it 5 out of 5, because I didn't read it with a critical eye. I read it to enjoy the book, and I did enjoy it. So I will definitely be purchasing more reads by this same author. If this was her debut novel, I'm sure it only gets better from here. But I would highly recommend this book if you're looking for something that's really cute and kind of different, you know, than what you would normally read. I really liked it. Michael, he is the love interest. His family was so fun to read about. His family, I believe, is Vietnamese, and so there you get to learn a little bit about their culture. Again, I don't know how accurate any of that is, but if it is accurate, then, you know, that was really fun as well, just to kind of see in the past, and even now, just starting to get back into reading. I don't read a lot of diverse fiction. I read a lot of the same stuff, fantasy, fairies, things like that, you know. It was just really, really good. I just really enjoyed it, and I think that if you like romance and you like fluffy books, it would be something you would like. I can definitely say, if you liked any of these books, this is Meet Cute by Helen Hoang, The Right Swipe by Alicia Ray, or Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. If you liked any of these books, you're certainly gonna like the Kiss Quotient, because I think it's along those lines. So something that I do want to mention, I was not expecting it to be as steamy as it was, so if that's not your thing, do not read this, because that's like, I would say that's a very good percentage of the book. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? That's literally the premise of the book. But I honestly think it's done in like the most wholesome way, because this guy is so sweet, and overall, I just really enjoyed it. You could take all of that out and it would still be good, just because they're so adorable together. I also really like the way they described her. So she's driven, she's put together, she's beautiful, and you know, I was like reading this book and I was like, I want to be her. Like, I want those qualities. They gave her a lot of very, very likable qualities, and letting your character struggle is also very important, which she did, and it just makes your character relatable and very likable, and I found both of them to be very likable. He was, you know, the love interest was also having struggles of his own. There was plot, you know, but there was a lot of steaminess, so definitely take that into consideration if you are going to be buying this book. I probably would have known that beforehand if I would have just read the back, but I didn't. But I don't care, it was very good. So, that being said, I have 4 books coming in the mail. I'm very, very excited. I bought 2 Christmas reads, and I bought another kind of like sci-fi read. It's a book about books, which is something that I really love. And then the other one is a special edition. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I might have already mentioned it in a video, but maybe not. I really hope you enjoyed my review. If you would like to see more of this, please let me know in the comments. I'm kind of debating doing Booktube Mondays. So I was gonna say Booktube Tuesdays, but I don't post on Tuesdays. Maybe I should start again, because Booktube Tuesdays has a better ring to it. So I am getting back into reading, and I am going to be able to put out a bit more book content. So if you're interested in seeing that, please let me know, because I'd be more than happy to do more Booktube content. I know that reviews aren't typically the most exciting thing in the world, but if you have any other suggestions, please leave them down below and I would be happy to oblige. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because it's really good for my channel. And don't forget to subscribe, because we love friends in the AuthorTube community. Also, for those of you who don't know, myself and a bunch of other AuthorTubers will be hosting an 18-hour Writ-A-Thon on November 21st. It starts at 8 a.m. CST and goes until 2 a.m. CST the next morning. So if you're trying to get nano words in or you're just writing, please come check it out. I'm going to link the playlist in the description and I'll link it at the end of the video. But that's it for this one, so I will see you guys next time. Bye.